This
Oh god.
is this one says, "Would I be the asshole for not bringing my daughter to Disney?" I'm gonna let that sit with you for a second.
Crystal, they okay. All right.
All
All
right,
right.
all right.
Because
Just wait, just wait.
mm, okay.
So this says, "I 35 male am married to my wonderful wife 36 female and have two kids, Jesse 16 female and Carl 6 male."
Just to warn you before you get into this story, I might put myself on mute just to keep from commenting because there's gonna be a lot of huffing and puffing, and I don't want to be huffing and puffing through your whole story. So if you don't hear me, it's because I muted myself because I'm pissed
Oh,
off already. Because I did. We'll get there. Okay, please continue.
okay. Okay. Jessie is my stepdaughter, but I still love her like my own. Every time someone says that, I don't believe them. Anyways, however, she can be a massive handful. She recently got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, October of 2022, and has been sick since May of last year. And because of that, has been lazy, rude, and doesn't go out. Me and my wife planned to go on a Disney trip for a week, but because of Jessie's condition, she's in the bathroom 5 to 20 times a day and can barely eat and is just really upset with everything and everyone. When she heard about the trip through my bedroom door, she was excited, of course, since it's Disney. But then I told her she would be staying with her grandma in California the days we went because she would be too tired and unable to enjoy the park, but instead could go to the beach or something with her grandparents. She ran to her room screaming about favoritism. I'm not playing favorites. She's been hospitalized 8 times this year alone and can't control her condition. She does horseback riding and claims she's fit enough and can just try to avoid the bathrooms. But last time she tried that at school, she literally had an accident and I had to bring her clothes. She can barely walk without being lightheaded, and she said she could use a wheelchair like when she sprained her ankle, but but they would but then we would have to explain why she needs it to staff and people in line, which I don't want to do all day. She also literally can only eat a few things, and Disney is known for being very bad for you. We could do something else, but it's my son's birthday and when we were going, and all he wants to do is a family Disney trip. I swear I can read y'all. My wife says
I
she thought
concur.
Jessie.
She can read, y'all. She is a very good reader, proficient, college level academic reader. However, I'm telling y'all, the people that write these stories are not. So,
And this is one of the ones I did pre-read.
yeah, yeah.
My wife says she thought Jessie was coming, but my mom and grandma, who she would be with, claim I'm right because she can't walk all day and they want to spend time with her. Would I be the asshole for refusing to let her come?
Can I comment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before I go into what I'm about to say, if there's anybody who has a respectable opinion of me and the way in which I carry myself or speak, go ahead and turn this off now if you want to preserve that image of me. That was your chance. Let me tell you something. Because this shit pissed me off at every turn. I honestly think this ain't a real story because ain't no way on earth that you are so unaware of the I have to breathe and I have to gather my thoughts. If you are that ignorant to where you will use this girl's illness to justify the fact that you don't want to take her on this damn trip, I don't know who I'm more mad at, honestly. I know who I'm more mad at. It's the dad. But I'm very upset with the biological mother of this girl. Because how dare you? How I know people who have this illness. That shit is real. No pun intended. Whoa, I took myself out with that one. That shit is real. It's no joke. You will be hospitalized. You can die from it because you literally your insides are turning on you. You are losing all the nutrients that your body gets. You can't really hold food. Like it's a terrible thing to deal with. Anybody who's ever had a sour stomach for a day or two knows. Anybody who's ever had food poisoning know how miserable it is. Imagine having that every day of your damn life, depending on the severity of it, because sometimes you have flare-ups and whatever. And then for you to paint it as for you to say, what did he say? Something about something about a condition she can't control or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But using it as like a demerit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she can't control her shitting her brains out, so she doesn't deserve to go on this vacation because I don't feel like
Right.
explaining to people in the park that she has a wheelchair. Motherfucker, do you know how many people are in wheelchairs in Disney every day? They have
Right.
seen everything. They literally have Make-A-Wish kids on the daily at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It is a thing for them. They
And
accommodate everyone.
I would think having a wheelchair would actually be a benefit because I know, like,
Yes.
when we've gone to anywhere and we've had someone with a wheelchair, like, as if they can still, if the wheelchair isn't preventing them from being able to ride, like, it's like a line skipper for
It
us.
is. You
Like, at
go
least you and
straight
one
to the
friend.
front. You go straight to the front of the line. If anything, she's an asset to y'all. As long as she don't,
Right.
lose it when I first,
Right.
if the bottom don't
We
fall out on that first, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I really feel for this guy. We going to hell.
We're going to hell. We're not. Oh man, you just made half our audience pissed. We're not making fun of this because we know it's a real thing.
Y'all see how mad I'm laughing to keep from crying, okay? Because this shit really pisses me off, and it's the fact that it's a child who is helpless in this situation, and more than one way.
And
And then you for to frame it to be like, my son wants a family, da 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 da, and then for you not to accommodate a core member of the family. See, this is why sometimes I don't believe in joining families. I don't. Sometimes that should be a little too, because there's going to be a bias unless you have kids prior and I have kids prior. But if I got a kid prior and then we have kids together, I feel like there's always going to be a bias against my child, and I'm always going to be trying to overcompensate, which may end up making the other kids feel alienated. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, every time someone says, oh, they make that thing where they're like, they're so-and-so's child, but I love them like they're my own. And then you're going into explain, like you use that as an opener to something that I don't believe you. Like I think you're trying to save face before you've gotten to the bad parts. Right. Yeah, because I didn't mean to cut you off, but he did answer a bunch of people in comments. I'm not going to go over all of them, but to sum it up, he said things that, like, her friends are no longer talking to her since she's got sick. He said that even if she wasn't sick, he probably wouldn't take her anyways because she had been lashing out recently and upset, although he says for no good reason, and being unnecessarily aggressive and rude to him and his mom, to him and her mom.
And that's something I actually wanted to comment on because, but before I forget, not to cut you off, but before I forget,
Right.
because I forgot before I wanted to comment on it.
Mhm.
Anybody who's ever had any stomach problems in their life, me being one of them, your attitude is on 10,000 because you feel bad all the time. You are irritable because your bowels are irritated.
Mhm.
You feel bad all the time. This girl ain't lashing out just because she feel like it. This girl is going through something. And you know what, to be honest, let this have been your kid, Crystal, and you was dealing with somebody that was treating your kid like this. I would be in your ear every chance I get telling you to leave that motherfucker.
You wouldn't even have
I
to be in my
wouldn't
ear.
listen. I wouldn't care what if y'all got to come stay with me.
I
Come
would be
over here and
fighting
stay
for
with
my
me.
kid. I
Let
would be
me tell
fighting
you,
for my kid to go.
I don't understand. Now listen, this ain't. I'm not even gonna make it gender specific. I don't understand people who get into new relationships with previous children and have new kids with said new to the person in that new relationship, and then emotionally neglect their children from previous relations. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, here's a few of his comments he said in response to
Mm-hmm.
people. She's been on meds since January, but hardly been better. She just got more depressed, lost weight, which is good because she was overweight, and just turned into a
All right.
monster, to be
And you know
honest.
what? Honestly, I don't need to hear no
Every
more.
every one of his
I don't hear.
comments
Mm-mm.
is very obvious that he just don't like this girl.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
He said the only
Mm-mm.
cure is surgery, but she's against it. She can only be less sick or slightly normal. She's
Mm-mm.
been lashing out recently and refusing to watch her little brother, getting mad over him taking her stuff, etc.
No.
So I think she would just spoil the trip and be rude to him while on vacation. For her birthday, she wanted to go to
No.
Universal Studios, but she couldn't get her IV medicine before the trip. So instead, she settled on a spa day with her cousin, which was better since it was cheaper and less stress since she could stay in her hotel room when things got bad. She kept saying it's unfair because she also wanted to go to a theme park, but she can't, at least not comfortably. Yeah, like I said, this goes on. He has so many comments trying to defend himself, and it's literally like it's against him. He was obviously labeled an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the correct label because he's
Yeah.
punishing her for a chronic illness. Like Timmy was saying,
For
if you've ever
mm,
been sick, if you've
mm,
ever been sick for a few days or a week,
mm-hmm.
if you had COVID and it was bad, you were
Yes.
miserable and you were
Miserable.
irritated and you were
Mm-hmm.
probably rude and you were probably aggressive and all these other things. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, life was depressing for you. Imagine having to feel like that indefinitely. This is a chronic illness. This isn't something that just gets to go away, that there's an end point. At least when you get sick, when you get a
Mm-hmm.
cold or you get a flu or something like that, there's usually an end date. Okay, in a week, in 2 weeks, I should be feeling better. She doesn't get that. And so she's 16 and she's having to learn how to live
Cope.
with this
How to cope.
now. And she's not,
Mm-hmm.
and right now she's not doing well. And apparently she did try to go to therapy, but he took her out of therapy. She was on a Reddit group for people with this condition, but he felt because most of the posts were telling her how it doesn't really get better and blah blah blah, and that's negative, he took her out of that. He sold her dog and her hamster because she couldn't take care of it because she was sick.
Okay, Crystal, I need you. I need you to cut
It
it
just goes on and on. Like I said,
because
the
somebody need to report they ass to CPS at this
someone
point
said that in the
because you're
comments.
taking away all of her support
Yes.
system. You are isolating this girl to the point where you are setting.
Yeah.
This is foreshadowing for a story that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
The documentary.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
are
yeah,
setting
yeah.
this girl up for the right conditions for her to commit suicide. I must say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are
Honestly.
manipulating her to get her up off this earth, so you don't have to deal with her no more.
Yeah.
Crystal,
I
this the
agree with
type of
you.
shit. This the type of shit. You know how I am.
I know.
When I feel like people are being bullied, taken advantage of, fucked over, different stuff like that, who are literally innocent or in a vulnerable position, I
Mm-hmm.
will lose everything that I have.
Right.
You witnessed. I didn't put shit on the line
Mm-hmm.
just to defend people like that because I can't.
Yeah.
You knew this was gonna piss me off.
I
I Crystal,
I
like
know.
I can't even express in words how I feel because it is such a I can't relate to that way of thinking in
To the
any
lack of empathy.
shape or form.
No. I'm
How
with
not
you.
only do you not empathize with this girl, but you take her circumstance and you turn it against her to make her
Yeah.
a villain to
Yeah.
justify the shit that you're doing to her.
Mm-hmm.
And the only end goal that I can see is that you want this girl out of the picture.
Honestly.
You want
Yes.
your family
Agreed.
with that with her mom and y'all son and
And
you.
that's it.
And you want
Yeah.
her out the fucking way.
Yeah.
And
I
the only
agree.
way that you can get there is to create the worst conditions possible for this girl.
Yeah.
Alienate her from her own mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, he's responded so many times. So if anybody wants to check it out, it is called Would I Be the Asshole for Not Bringing My Daughter to Disney?
He can go to
Obviously it says
hell.
asshole right next to it. So you're free to go on Reddit, check it out, and read some of his comments if you want to see more about it.